Hello students, welcome to Biology Made Easy for You. Today we will study about common human diseases. Human diseases are mainly of two types: congenital, which is also genetic diseases, and acquired diseases. Congenital diseases are those diseases which are present at the time of birth. For example, various genetic disorders like Down syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, hemophilia, color blindness, etc. Whereas acquired diseases are those diseases which we acquire in our lifetime. These acquired diseases are again classified into two types. One is communicable and non-communicable diseases. Communicable can be contagious or non-contagious. Whereas non-communicable diseases, you have diseases caused due to addiction of drugs and various other substances. Deficiency diseases, which are caused due to the deficiency of various nutrients like carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, minerals. Degenerative diseases are caused due to non-functioning or degeneration of some of the body parts or organs. Mental diseases, which are caused due to various factors. Allergy, which is caused due to various allergens, and cancer. Today we will talk about the communicable diseases which are caused due to pathogens or microorganisms, especially bacteria. Communicable diseases are mainly caused because of organisms, the biological agents. They are also called pathogens. The pathogens are mainly classified into bacteria, viruses, protozoans, helminths, and fungi. Today we'll discuss about the diseases caused by bacteria. There are several diseases which are caused by bacteria. We will discuss a few of them. Typhoid. Typhoid, the causative agent is Salmonella typhi. It's a bacterium, and the epidemiology, how it spreads, is through contaminated food and water. It's also called fecal oral route. That is, when the person defecates and doesn't wash his hands properly and he handles the food, and when someone eats the food handled by such a person, it can lead to infection. Once it enters the body, the bacterium enters the small intestine and it migrates to other organs through the blood. The symptoms of typhoid include high fever, sustained high fever, 39 to 40 degrees Celsius, and weakness, stomach pain, constipation, headache, loss of appetite, and in severe cases it leads to intestinal perforations. That is, formation of pores in the intestine which can lead to internal bleeding and cause death. We can confirm the presence of disease, or we can diagnose typhoid by a test called Widal test. And in this case, we should discuss about a classical case in the medical history, that is Typhoid Mary. There was a lady called Mary Mallon, and she was a cook by profession, and she used to cook in restaurant, and people who used to eat the food cooked by her would get infected with typhoid, and there are several cases. It has led to death of people also. Later on, it was discovered that the lady, she was a carrier, asymptomatic carrier, who was spreading the disease to those who used to eat the food cooked by her. So typhoid can be prevented by using a vaccine called TAB vaccine. It is typhoid, paratyphoid A and B. It is the full form. And treatment for typhoid includes giving antibiotics like terramycin and chloromycetin. This is about typhoid. We will move on to the next disease, pneumonia. Pneumonia is caused by Streptococcus pneumoniae. Streptococcus pneumoniae is the bacteria which was used by Griffith in the Griffith's experiment. He worked on Streptococcus pneumoniae and Haemophilus influenzae. These two bacteria together cause pneumonia. And how it spreads? It spreads through droplet inhalation, or the aerosols when it is released by an infected person, or sharing the articles used by infected person like glasses, towels, utensils, cloths with the infected person. And the symptoms for pneumonia include: it affects the respiratory tract, especially the alveoli. Alveoli gets filled with a fluid and it leads to severe problems in respiration. And there is also fever, chills, cough and headache. And in severe cases, the lips, fingernails can turn grey to bluish. This process is called cyanosis. The turning of the lips, finger to bluish color is called cyanosis. These are the symptoms of pneumonia. Next we have cholera. Cholera is caused by the bacteria Vibrio cholerae. The mode of transmission or the epidemiology is again fecal oral route through contaminated food and water. The symptoms are dysentery, continuous stools, and the stools are white stools, rice water like stools, and repeated vomiting. And the diagnosis is by microscopic examination of the stool or the vomit to check for the presence of these cholera causing vibrios. And treatment is, since dysentery, dehydration is caused, a lot of water is lost, fluid is lost from the body. So rehydration is very important. ORS or the oral rehydrating solution can be prepared at home with salt, sugar and water and can be given to the patient. And also drugs like tetracycline, chloramphenicol are used to treat cholera. We will move on to the next disease. It's tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is caused by a bacterium, Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It produces a toxin, a powerful toxin called tuberculin, which is released by the bacteria after damaging the tissues. Tuberculosis may be pulmonary tuberculosis, which affects the lungs, or extrapulmonary tuberculosis. It may affect either the intestine or the spinal cord, or it can affect the joints, or it can affect eyes, or even the uterus. Mode of transmission of the pulmonary tuberculosis is through droplet inhalation, or when we consume contaminated food and drinks containing the bacteria, it can lead to infection. Also, when you consume milk from a tubercular animal, it can also cause tuberculosis. Some of the animals generally contain tuberculosis bacteria in their body, and if you drink the raw milk without pasteurizing, it can lead to tuberculosis. That's why pasteurization of milk is very important. The symptoms of tuberculosis include fever, cough, and the sputum may contain blood, and pain in the chest, and loss of weight, excessive fatigue, and the temperature of the body rises in the evening. Every day in the evening time, the person feels high temperature. Then hoarseness in the throat, night sweating, and rapid pulse. These are some of the symptoms, and it's not necessary that all the symptoms may be present in a person. Some of the symptoms may be present, some may not be present also. Diagnosis. How it's diagnosed? TB can be diagnosed by a test called Mantoux test. And there is a vaccine which can prevent tuberculosis. It is BCG vaccine. It's Bacillus calmette-guerin vaccine. It is used to prevent tuberculosis. And it's not necessary that if a person has taken BCG that he will never be affected. But yes, it prevents to a certain extent. And the treatment includes using various drugs like streptomycin, isoniazid, and rifampicin. And medicines, once it has been started, the course should be completed. It should not be stopped in between, because the bacteria become resistant. The pathogen will become resistant to the drug, and the drug will not be useful again. So that's why the World Health Organization has prepared a scheme. It's called the DOTS, Direct Observed Therapy Short Course, which is very effective in treating tuberculosis patients. It is the direct observation which ensures treatment for the entire course with the right drugs, right doses, and at the right intervals of time. And on 24th March, we celebrate the World Tuberculosis Day. It is celebrated to create awareness about tuberculosis. We will move on to the next disease, meningitis or meningitis. Meningitis is caused by Neisseria meningitidis. It is the inflammation of the covering of brain. The covering of brain is called the meninges. So the inflammation of the meninges of brain is called the meningitis. The symptoms include headache, stiffness of neck, and vomiting. Then we have a deadly disease, a fatal disease, tetanus. It's also called lockjaw disease. It is caused by the pathogen Clostridium tetani. It's a pathogen generally present in the intestine of some of the animals. And when these animals defecate, along with its excreta, the spores are released into the atmosphere, and these spores are very much resistant, highly resistant, and they can be present in the atmosphere for years together. And whenever they get a chance, they enter the body of organism and cause disease. So the mode of infection is the spores can enter our body through wounds, cuts. That's why when you get hurt, you are advised to take tetanus injection. When you fall on the road or when you're cut with a rusted iron, it can lead to tetanus. Now the bacteria, once it enters, it starts multiplying and it releases a toxin called tetanospasmin. This tetanospasmin is responsible for the disease. The symptoms are headache, irritability, followed by back pain, stiff neck, and jaw spasm. There is a stiffness. The person's bones and other body parts become so stiff, it's out of the control. So spasm of chest, abdomen, spine, then suffocation and heart failure, leading to death of the person. Yes, this can be prevented by the vaccine DPT, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus vaccine should be given to prevent tetanus. And treatment includes tetanus toxoid, which is an active immunization. This can be given, and also ATS, anti-tetanus serum, the ready-made immune, the passive immunity. This also can be given. Now we'll move on to plague. Plague, also called Black Death. It is caused by the bacteria Pasteurella or Yersinia pestis. Actually, this is a disease of rodents. It's not a disease of human beings, but it got transferred to human beings by chance, accidentally. So it is actually the wild rat or the Tatera indica. It is the reservoir of this Yersinia pestis. The mode of transmission is the rat flea, which is also called Xenopsilla cheopis. This is a zoological name. It is present in the rat's blood. It feeds on the rat's blood. So when it bites the infected animal and when this flea bites human beings, it transmits the pathogen. And this plague is again of 3 types: bubonic plague, pneumonic plague, and septicemic plague. Bubonic plague affects the lymph nodes, whereas the pneumonic plague affects the respiratory system, and septicemic plague affects the circulatory system. Then we have pertussis. It's also called the oofing cough or the Kali Khasi in Hindi we call. Okay, it's caused by the pathogen Bordetella pertussis. It affects the upper respiratory tract, and the symptoms include cough, fever, vomiting, cyanosis, that is turning of bluish. The fingers, nails turns bluish in color. Okay, and bleeding from nose. These are the symptoms. Yes, it can be prevented by vaccine DPT, diphtheria pertussis tetanus vaccine. Then we will move on to the next disease. It's diphtheria. Diphtheria is caused by Corynebacterium diphtheriae. In this disease, the throat gets blocked. The throat is blocked because of the formation of a pseudomembrane. A pseudomembrane is formed which blocks the throat. And the bacteria produces a powerful toxin called diphtherotoxin, which ruptures the mitochondrial membrane of the macrophages, leading to death. Death can occur within a short time. There is also an antitoxin, diphtheria antitoxin. If it is given within 48 hours, the life of the patient can be saved. Thank you, students. We will meet in the next topic.